back on Flashpoint. Our guests are Representative Gumm Steele, a Republican from R-Shawnee, and Senator Jay Paul Gumm, a Democrat from D-Durant. We're arguing the merits and the problems and the issues and the money behind Nick's law, making insurance companies or requiring them to cover autism. Mike has a question for Representative Steele.
Other states have already done this. It's worked out just fine. Fair enough?
It's not fair enough. The truth of the matter is that the 8 states that have passed a variation of an autism mandate have done so in the last couple of years, and the jury's still out on exactly how much it's going to increase the cost of insurance in those states. I will tell you that the House of Representatives commissioned an actuarial study on the fiscal impact to taxpayers in Oklahoma. People who have insurance, and the results came back that it would be at least a 7% increase and potentially a 14% increase on everyone's insurance plan. And we should talk about that because we have to think about who an insurance mandate would actually affect in Oklahoma. First of all, we know that it wouldn't affect the uninsured, the 611,000 Oklahomans who don't have insurance. They wouldn't be paying for the mandate. Federal employees wouldn't be paying for the mandate. Anybody that works at Tinker or any one of our other federal institutions, they wouldn't be paying for the mandate.
And it would not be mandated to them.
No, that's right. It wouldn't apply to them because they fall under a different criteria, and neither would self-insured. That's our farmers and ranchers and our bigger businesses like the Devons and the Chesapeakes and the bigger businesses in Oklahoma who have their own insurance plan. So there's only about a third of Oklahomans who this mandate would actually apply to. So you have a third of the people that would actually be bearing the cost for this mandate. And the way that insurance companies usually assess these mandates is they assess them on the groups that the services would actually apply to. So we're talking about families of dependents, families with children. And so of that third that it would apply to, there's even a smaller group that would actually have to pay for the mandate, and it's usually our working moms and dads who have small children, and it becomes very costly at that point.
Senator Gumm, do you agree with his study that says it would increase them at least 7%?
Let's put it this way. I believe in the veracity of their study as much as they believe in the veracity of our study, which
is not much, huh?
Not much. Which actually reflects what's happened in a lot of these other states that have had autism mandates, and some have actually had longer than a couple of years. And we'll just say we don't agree on whether the studies are going to be correct, but here's the bottom line that we get down to. A lot of these uninsureds may be families who right now can't afford to buy insurance because they're too busy trying to take care of their kids with autism. Number two, the number of mandates on the books have very little in common with the number of uninsured people and the cost of insurance in other states. There are lots of states with a lot more mandates on the books than Oklahoma who have cheaper insurance than we have here in Oklahoma. It's about per capita personal income, and it's about relative health of the state determines how many uninsureds you have in a state. So I don't believe that Nick's law will drive up the number of uninsureds, just like it wouldn't in Louisiana, where it was carried by a Republican state representative down there, signed by a Republican rising star, Governor Jindal. The same thing happened in Florida. Same thing happened in Texas. Republican legislatures, Republican governors signed it.
So where are the votes on this deal?
If members were allowed to vote their consciences, Nick's law would be law on the governor's desk tomorrow. But here's what happened. Last year we started the ball rolling on Nick's law. We know we had Republicans who were willing to vote for the bill. Then they had a caucus. Then the hammer fell, and everybody dried up and went quiet. The same thing that happened on the House side, that happened on the House side last year, has happened on the Senate side. If members were free to vote their consciences and not being bullied by their leaderships on the Republican side, the next law will be on the governor's desk tomorrow.
Yeah, 30 seconds here to wrap it up.
Well, here's the situation. In the House of Representatives, we put forth a plan that would allow us to begin to train and license and actually define what behavioral therapy is, behavioral analysis. Get a statutory definition, implement a state licensure for behavioral therapists, and then we begin to build that network of service providers. I should mention that a major insurance provider in Oklahoma is going to be offering parity for children with autism beginning January 1st, 2010. OCGIB already does that.
Nothing that helps the kids we're losing.
We're out of time, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll continue to follow this debate. We'll be back on Flashpoint.
Thank you.